Poised for Exit is a show for business owners who want to achieve a successful exit based on their own terms. Your business exit will likely be the biggest financial transaction of your life, and for most, you'll have one shot at doing it right. The topics and guests we feature and the stories they share will provide valuable ideas and strategies to improve operations and grow enterprise value so you can achieve the best possible exit outcome. Now here's your host, award-winning certified exit planning advisor, Julie Keys.
Welcome everyone to Poised for Exit, the exit planning podcast show. Today's guest has been in the studio before. She's the executive director of an organization that supports women entrepreneurs in the construction industry. She's got some great stories and advice to share, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
Right now, there's a record number of buyers looking for businesses, and many businesses are selling at a premium. To get a free, confidential business valuation so you'll know what your business might be worth, contact a broker at Sunbelt Business Advisors at 612-455-0880. We're Minnesota's largest seller of companies. Let us help you maximize your life's work. Call 612-455-0880 or visit sunbeltmidwest.com.
Are you looking to add enterprise value to your business through effective marketing? At Evolve Systems, we craft custom marketing strategies designed to achieve your goals. Our comprehensive approach covers everything from branding and digital awareness to advanced lead generation tools. Positioning a business to sell in today's M&A market is not only challenging, but can be difficult without the right marketing strategy. We capture your ideal audience with clear and effective brand messaging that drives more deal customers. Let's evolve your business together. Reach out to us at 651-628-4000 or visit evolve-systems.com to start the conversation today.
Selling your business may be the furthest thing from your mind, but that doesn't mean you should wait to plan. At TrustPoint, we understand the nuances that come with selling a business and are here to guide you. From unlocking tax efficiencies to minimizing risk, we'll develop the strategies to ensure you're prepared. So, when the time arrives, you'll be ready to enjoy the best years of your life. Learn more at TrustPointInc.com. That's TrustPointinc.com.
Hello, Poised for Exit listeners. We are in this studio once again with Barb Lau, the executive director of the Association of Women Contractors. Barb, welcome back to Poised for Exit.
Hey, Julie, great to be here again, and great to be here sitting with a member of AWC this time.
I know, I'm a member. It was so fun going to the new member lunch that you guys had. It was so informative and so well organized, and I was so impressed by all the things that you do to help women contractors. It's just amazing to me.
Thank you. I think we outgrew our space after the last week.
It kind of looked that way. There were lots of people there. So that just is a testimony to the success that you're driving with that organization and how much you help.
Yeah, I will say probably the proudest moment of my career this year is the exponential growth that we've had this year. We always look at our number of members as a net number, because you're always going to lose some members each year. Mm-hmm. And I think my record was a net 12, and yesterday I'm at net 26, which is just crazy.
Wow.
So I don't get paid per member, so I'm not out there schlepping trying to get members to join that don't fit. So to me, it just means that we're bringing the value we say you're going to.
Yeah, you are. And it's like your mission or your value system is such a match for your skill set and the commitment that you have to this organization, and everyone can feel it. It's almost palpable.
Thanks. It's definitely my dream job, always has been, and it has just grown to where you look at your life and you say, everything led me here, and definitely that's how I feel about where I'm at and the opportunities that I've gotten just from this career. Being somebody that was brought out to the Federal Reserve Board of Governors on the Community Advisory Council.
Wow.
And sitting at a table with Chair Powell talking to him about women businesses and what they need and where we're missing opportunity for small businesses and banking for people of color and those initiatives to be in rooms where I'm heard and being able to tell the story of my members, which is what's most important to me.
And actually asked for your input.
Right.
Right. Instead of trying to fight to give it.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
And then that led me to this year, I'm on the Minneapolis, the 9th District Federal Reserve Advisory Council. So
fantastic. And this all started when?
AWC started in 1995. So next year we're celebrating 30 years. of the association.
Wow.
Started with 10 trailblazers that went to some training and came out and said we could empower others. And that's where they started in the highway heavy industry sector from MnDOT.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I came on board in 2008, so 16 years ago. And as their first W-2 employee, moving forward, the association have now a full-time staff person, a part-time staff person, and a wonderful board of directors that does strategic visioning, and 245 plus members. So
Fantastic. Like I said, when I went to the luncheon and you gave a presentation on all the different things that this organization does for its members, I'd just like to talk about that because I think that it would help for anyone out there who is in a position that they could become a member that, hey, maybe I should look into this.
Well, and I also think mimicking is flattery, right? So if it's not a right fit for construction, it's ideas that you can bring back to other associations that might be successful.
Absolutely.
That aren't in my, I'm never feel competitive. What we do is what we do.
Right,
So,
right.
We focused on networking.
Yeah.
And we believe the best way to do that is how you need to do it, not how we proclaim that you need to. We don't do assigned seating at events. We don't flicker the lights and make everyone be quiet so that they can listen to me talk at every event, except the one you were at last week. But
that's essential, though.
That's essential. Exactly. We have two essential speaking to people events to tell our story. Beyond that, though, we really want you to engage with each other. And what I've seen in this group is that they actually do in a way that I don't see in a lot of other groups I'm a part of or partnered with.
Well, and you've talked about this before, how the members do business with each other regularly. It's not like you're having to remind them all the time. Like you do, but, the bigger the group gets, the more you have to kind of get it out there. But they just by nature are working with each other. So speak to that. How did you foster that?
I think that in part, it was unintentional. If they had to, if they needed somebody to work with them on a project, if they needed a service to that level, then they would find each other.
But you also are a catalyst, right? You bring two together, right? You two should work together because there's a great synergy here and a great fit that you need to discover, and I know it's there.
Absolutely.
I've seen you do that.
Yeah, I can tell just by what I know about the businesses. And I think that's also unique about me is that I really want to get to know my members and what they do, because once I know that, I can find opportunity for them. And so I have a gift of knowing a person's face, what their name is and what their business is and what they do. So if I'm in a room, I can say, oh, the woman I met today for lunch, I know what she does. She's a drywall company. I know that she needs to meet a general contractor because they work in that same arena. And if I'm in a room, I'm going to say, do you know so-and-so, and bring them together. So that in part is just the small level of introductions and partnerships that I bring. And then I foster that not just with the women business owners and themselves, but alternately in the industry. People will call me, do you have anybody within the organization that does XYZ? Where do you recommend we find that? I focus on helping those that are intentional about that and not doing it to check a box.
Sure.
We always talk about checking a box for utilization, and we that never is sustainable, and it doesn't really help true growth of a business.
It doesn't. I don't know that anybody wins when you're checking a box.
I agree, except for the person that needed to check the box to get points.
But even do they?
If they got the points and got the job, maybe.
But then, like you said,
not long term though.
Yeah, right. So then, if the relationship's not sustainable, then it always costs money to have to move on, and whether it's hiring another employee or bringing on another vendor.
Well, one of the things that we've learned, we facilitate the construction partnering program for the city of St. Paul.
Okay,
and this is a program that started back when Norm Coleman was the mayor in St. Paul. So we're talking quite 30 years ago.
Awesome.
And it was originally run by MEDA, the Metropolitan Economic Development Association. And then we partnered with them on contracting. And then now we run it ourselves for the city. And what it is it is a program that pairs large general contractors or subcontractors with small minority or women-owned contractors. And so we facilitate the partners, if they're having difficulty, we facilitate them meeting each other and learning about each other and determining if they're going to do business together. We facilitate meetings so that they can all learn from each other. And
Wow.
sometimes it's about just industry speak. And that's where some of the intentionality of what I've seen on how people can partner together for success is good.
Mhm.
But additionally, one of the majority-owned contractors has said for years, it's about risk management. So not only are you doing the right thing, but you're also managing your own risk for those people that are against doing, helping others or giving a part of the pie away or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
They know that if they're working on a project with that same company over and over and helping to grow that company, they are getting a good company that has the same safety program and knows
Right.
their crews know each other, et cetera. So that becomes sort of like, I would say, the ink blot there for copying, right? If you're looking how to run good programs for partnering and mentoring, one of those that is really teed up on the large general contractors who are doing it for a different reason.
Okay. And to reiterate, the different reason is what? Not because they wanted to check a box, but because they want to bring up the smaller companies?
Correct.
Mhm.
I've been told that it is the right thing to do.
Mhm.
That is what I've been told. Now, when I first started in this program, the company is no longer in business, but the larger company had said, I am often asked why I would mentor a competitor. And he said, my answer to people is that I'm mentoring a competitor that is actually bidding appropriately, working appropriately. They're probably not going to play in the same sandbox when you look at the whole story, but they have somebody out there that they know is playing by the right rules.
Right. Because then it helps the entire industry, right? So,
Right.
boy, I love that. I mean, I help, quote unquote, my competition all the time. And I've been asked that before. Like, why are you always helping your competition? Why are you teaching your competition all of your best trade secrets and things that you've learned and earned and whatnot? And my answer is the same. I want to continue this industry. I want business owners to be helped. There's plenty of business out there. And if a business owner chooses this person over me, then it was because of fit, not because of what I taught them necessarily,
I do know. I say that often. People will come to join AWC and they might say,
Yeah.
oh, you have 3 banks already. You probably don't need another. And my answer
Sure.
is, but you might be the personality that 5 people are going to get along with and
Right.
not someone else. And like I said to you when we began here, I'm not afraid for people to copy me. If
Right.
it works, good. If that helps create synergy, great.
Well, don't they say too, when it comes to ideas, that there's never really any original ones anymore?
Right,
We just
right.
keep recycling the same ones.
Right, exactly. Although I will say,
Yeah.
put a big circle and a red line through. We've always done it this way because if that's how you do it, it's never going to.
Oh, yeah.
Those people that use that as their pat answer are doing a disservice not only to themselves but to everyone around them.
Yeah, with the way that the world is changing and the business is changing and the way business is done is changing, we can't afford to be laggards. We got to kind of keep up and share ideas.
If
and
people were
help
exit
us,
planning
right?
the same way, right?
Yeah.
I bet that's evolved completely.
It has. I think that what has evolved more than anything is that society, the business circles are talking about it a lot more than they ever have from when I first got certified. And so just that awareness in and of itself has woken up the advisory community as well as the business ownership community. So at least people have heard of it. They know it's a thing. Before it wasn't even a thing. People thought that I helped them exit the planet. It's like, no, not my job. That's up to God.
That is really something. But
Yeah.
actually, the first place I really heard about it was from my financial advisor.
Sure. Yeah. And perfect.
that is definitely something that goes through. And to that matter, we've developed a succession plan for myself.
Good.
What is it going to be when Barb leaves?
Yeah. Smart. Very, very smart. Glad to hear that. So let's talk about the fact that the women that are members, most of the women anyway, the owners that are members of AWC are in a male-dominated business, right? They're in an industry that's primarily run and owned and led by men. Not a bad thing, but it's changed, right? So I don't know exactly what the hurdles might be for them now, but I have a feeling I might know what they used to be. How does it look now? Is it a better playing field, level playing field, or from your perspective?
I think that there are still some hiccups. I think we started to touch on this the last time I was in with you, in that women business owners aren't necessarily looked at as being legitimate. And this goes all the way back to when they started this association, right? We had people would get on the field and say, "Can I talk to your husband?" And the woman business owner would say, "Well, sure, but he doesn't actually work for me or work for this company." So I think what's different now is that people are used to seeing more women in this industry. I think that women aren't getting into this industry because their dads had it or their husbands have it. They're making a choice to do this in a much bigger way than it used to be. There's a fallacy that because you're a woman or a minority-owned business, you have this golden ticket because of programs that have been implemented to right past wrongs and just to give somebody an opening door. The door is supposed to be unlocked for you to be able to open, but you still have to be the lowest bidder and you still have to do all the right things.
All
and you
the
still
rules.
have to be a good contractor, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's a complete fallacy that there's it's not there. I've had clients that are women in the construction industry, and just because you're woman-owned doesn't mean that you're automatically at the top of the list.
No, and the people that think that then start to do dirty things like, let's just put this in my wife's name.
Sure.
And she doesn't really work here.
Right.
I can smell those a mile away, and I will sit down. I will report them. I will not help. If I know that they are legitimately trying to do something, I will help them all the way.
Yep.
If I hear one rumor that I can substantiate, I will go and make sure it is known that this is somebody that's just trying to play the game.
Yeah, and I think that was a little more prevalent years ago, but right now I think, you can get some pretty stiff penalties for doing that, right? Like if I'm...
You can, but it is done every single day.
Really? It's still being done?
It's still being done. I made it my life's mission while I'm still in this role to get rid of all of the fronts and the pass-throughs in this industry so that my legitimate businesses are not losing work to people that are not.
Right.
If we could get rid of the idea that there was a golden ticket, people would be less inclined to try to find that ticket. And so making people understand how that all works and hurts is one thing. There's still an old boys club. If you are just starting out, you are not able to fly people on your private jet to go on a hunting trip and reward them for the business they gave you.
Yeah.
I'd love to say that's gone away. It is not.
Sure.
So that is still a struggle. And I have a lot of members that have said, I don't want business because I'm a woman-owned business. I want business because I'm a good contractor.
Exactly. We want it on merit. We don't want it on, for sure. Yeah. Because it doesn't do anything for the confidence or, the business itself, right? I mean, think of all the people that are in the business, working for the business. Everybody's teaming together and trying to win these jobs. And
you want more jobs. You don't just want the one-off because you were a woman-owned business that was awarded something.
Right. And you don't want the worst ones either. But sometimes that's how you start out, right? They give you the crummy stuff until you prove yourself.
Yeah, kind of. But it depends on the scope of work you're in, really. It depends on what you're doing. We sometimes say start small. People believe that the golden ticket is with the large jobs. You can have your certification as a woman-owned business or whatever the case may be. But sometimes you just need to grow by doing other things and get your capacity up so that you can play in the bigger sandbox.
Right. All the things like infrastructure and automation and, good hiring practices and managerial things like that. Because if you don't, as you know, if you don't have those things as a part of your foundation, then it becomes almost impossible to scale your company.
Right. And we're in the Twin Cities, it's a very strong union town. So if you're a small contractor, the business plan has to be what's right for you. And if the enticement of those big jobs is such that you jump in and you join the union and you do all the things that you need to work on that one big job, but then you don't have anything left when it's over.
Right.
And then you put yourself into a path that might not be right for you either in the long run.
Oh, I know. Because when you get out of your swim lane and you start doing jobs that you're not necessarily qualified or ready for yet, then you can lose money. I mean, I've had clients that it's happened to, and time and again, it's like, okay, we got to go back to what is our ideal job size and ideal job type, and just that's where we want to spend the majority of our time. We don't want, getting out of scope with jobs that we can't turn around and bill more for because we didn't bid it properly or whatever, right? Yeah, you're nodding your head.
I'm nodding my head like absolutely. And,
Yeah.
and I always say
Yeah.
that
It's
all
tempting,
a
but
great big job means is way more expenses
Yep.
and way more paperwork and,
Right. Yeah.
longer time you're waiting to get paid.
and taking your people away from your loyal customers that can't get their stuff done because
Well, and
you're
your quality
all locked
goes
up
down
and-
because you're growing too fast and all the things, right?
Right. So membership benefits. If I'm a woman contractor and I'm not necessarily in the Twin Cities, does it make sense for me to become an AWC member? Like say, for instance, I'm in the Brainerd Lakes area or St. Cloud or Hibbing or, Bemidji or something like that, Rochester.
I think it's harder.
Is there any
And the-
advocacy for them in those different parts of the state?
I think a lot of the advocacy that we do is government or legislature, and that's throughout the state, right? And
Sure.
I do have some members that are outstate,
Sure,
right?
sure.
With anyone that joins an association or a group of any type, you have to know what, in the end of the year, the question is, what was my return on investment? I would ask people to ask that at the beginning of the year. What do I want
What do I
that
wanna get?
return to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it is education, sure, we have online education.
You
That's
do, yep.
wonderful.
Lots of it.
If you need me, I have a member in New Orleans. I said, why? She said, because you've already helped me with these and these and these things.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, well, thank you.
Lots of good resources on the website.
Right.
I could add to that if you wanted them,
Right.
just checklists and stuff. Okay, so one more question. When we look at different markets in the United States, okay, obviously Minnesota is not the only state that has women contractors. Are you an affiliated organization of other women contractor organizations, or is this an anomaly?
This is an anomaly. And I think that you started asking me about this the last time.
Okay, probably.
About why I wouldn't be expanding or going chapter based.
Not you necessarily, but
Right. If there wasn't.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
There are a couple other similar organizations. There's one in Houston that ironically started the same year as we did.
Oh, okay.
They have made their life's focus as lobbying and legislative pieces during the city. So, or throughout the city, working on that.
Okay.
There's one, they're not called contractors, they're Federation of Women in Construction, those types. And there's a lot of minority and women
Okay.
combined groups out there. I don't know that anyone's doing what we do specifically.
Well, isn't that amazing? Lots of stories I'm sure that you could share. We're running out of time here, but Barb, thanks again for coming back and sharing more about Association for Women Contractors. I'm very honored to be a member of that organization, and I would encourage all of our listeners out there who are thinking about becoming a member or want to learn more. We'll have information about you and about the association in the webs or in the show notes, so they'll be able to find you that way. And so, one more question: 2025, right around the corner.
Exciting.
Yeah, tell us about what's going to happen at AWC. What's on the horizon?
AWC turns 30 years old. And so we will be celebrating sort of some history look back. And we always, as a board, look at ways that we can improve our give to the membership. And so we'll do a little bit of that, but we're most excited to celebrate the past. We'll be having something with all the past presidents that we'll be inviting over.
Oh, good idea.
Just, giving back to them.
Very good
I
idea.
was very fortunate to have 3 very large sponsors come in for next year to help support that.
Excellent.
One of which is a general contractor. There were 3 general contractors that joined us when we first started, and McGough is one of them, and they are continuing to support us at a high level.
Love that. Excellent. Well, thank you for the work that you do. Thanks for being here again. Thanks
Julie.
for everything that you have done, because I know that you send out good ripples. Let's put it that way.
Thanks. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
and
for
I
sure.
appreciate having you with us, and I can't wait to tap into you a little bit for these members as well.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks for rating our show, for sharing it with your colleagues. Please join us again next time.